And a special welcome to two of our previously published authors that I know are here, Maria Palime and Don Pinnock. Very nice to see you. My name is Kristen Paramur, and I'm one of the editors at Tafelberg. We are working together with City Press with great joy and pleasure to bring to you some of the fine new voices and some of the established voices in South African non-fiction. We hope to bring to you relevant, entertaining, interesting, and worthy books that tell us something about ourselves and our country that we need to know. This evening, we are welcoming the entries for the 2015 to 2016 award, and you can see the names of the shortlisted people here to my left. Leonie Hubert, Sizwe Mpofu-Walsh, Jolene Young, Rebone Tau, and Jolene Young. They have submitted entries. I will give them in alphabetical order in order to show no preference to anyone. First up is Chief Junk by Leonie Hubert. She wishes to follow the myths that surround hunger, poverty, and obesity in South Africa, and to do this by following one mother with child through a year of her life. Second is Democracy and Delusion by Sizwe Mpofu-Walsh. He tackles 10 myths that underpin much of South African political discussion. What's wrong, what's right, what's the history of those myths, and what we can do to set the problems right. Third, The History of the ANC Youth League by Rebone Tau. She wishes to show what the party once was, what that section of the party once was, what it can be, how it should inspire us, who the leaders were, and what we can do to bring back the glory that it once had. Then there is Johannesburg's River, where Sean Christie wishes to follow the Yukska River through Johannesburg and bring together all the legitimate, illegitimate, legal, extra-legal elements that he finds along the way. Then we have the Slavery in Simonstown, which admittedly is quite self-explanatory. It shows the history of the slaves since the first part of Dutch rule in Simonstown, the names, the people, the ones who were exploited and the ones who did the exploiting, all who lived there. Thank you for this, and I hope you have a very good evening. I welcome Gugu Mhlungu from the City Press to do her part and to announce the winner. Thank you.
So for us as City Press, this award represents ongoing work from our side to try and tell different stories, which is particularly important for me as a young person who's felt in the last 22 years or so growing up in this country that our story wasn't nuanced enough. It wasn't complicated enough. It didn't tell all of the different stories. And so part of our motivation for being part of this award is to try and see which other stories can we give an opportunity to be told, what can they add to our discourse, which for me is a great source of frustration, to be honest. As someone who studied media, someone who continues to do discourse analysis, it's a huge frustration. And so this award is really, really important for us in that we're able to give an opportunity for another story, which hopefully adds another layer, another kind of angle to the story we tell ourselves, about other people, and what here means, where we're coming from, excuse me, where we're coming from, but also where we could potentially be going. And so we're very excited to then, with the book that or the proposal that's been shortlisted, because I think as a young person, again, it adds a layer of thought, which I think many of us as young people have been having for many years. It hasn't been given a platform, hasn't been given space, and so now we're seeing young people saying, well, if you won't listen to us, we'll make you listen to us. So I'm very excited to say that the selected work, which will be the 2015-2016 City Press Tafelberg Nonfiction Award winner, is by Oxford student Sizwe Mpofu-Walsh, who joined us. So Sizwe's proposed work is a book called Democracy and Delusions, 10 Myths About South African Politics. And the title is not really self-explanatory. So on one hand, you will be looking at 10 big stories that we've told ourselves over the last 22 years, what they mean, but also why in many ways they rest on delusion, which I think is really important. But more than that, more than just a piece of literary work or written work, he'll be combining it with music, because he's also a recording artist, you may have seen his, was it a video, was it just audio, Mr. President last year, looking at some of the issues surrounding our current sitting president. It did really, really well. And so he'll be combining music and that kind of storytelling with the written work to produce what will ultimately be Democracy and Delusions, 10 myths about South African politics. And I'm very excited to read this book. So Sizwe, congratulations.
Thank you very much, Ms. Gugu. This comes as a tremendous honor, but no award like this can be won without a little bit of luck. So I think the first thing to say is to the other contestants in this award, your works were enough to intimidate the heck out of me, and I hope that you continue to pursue those very interesting projects, and I'm very much looking forward to reading them. In terms of Democracy and Delusion, I hope to shock the public debate out of its complacency, do honor to those who were also shortlisted, and I hope that you'll all be listening and reading, because I think this is going to be a work that hopefully takes people out of their comfort zones and adds a new layer of complexity to our public debate. So thank you very much to City Press, to Tafelberg, to all the fellow contestants. This is a great honor.
Congratulations again, Sizwe. So the next round of the Nonfiction Award would be from, correct, 2016, 2017, right? 2017, 2018, yes. And so if there is a work which you might be wanting to write, I would encourage you very strongly. If I didn't work for City Press, I would enter the competition. So someone must enter this competition. If not for yourselves, then for me. So please do consider entering, especially if you think your story is different. That's precisely what we want, actually. If your story is untold, if it's small, that's really what we want. So please do seriously consider entering for the next round for 2017, 2018. And thank you very much for your time this evening. Thank you for joining us. Congratulations again, Sizwe. Of the short listees, is that a real word? That's a word now. Of the short listees, we'd like to get a photo of you, so if you could stay behind. And please enjoy the rest of the festival.